MLS Aces Podcast. This is your host, Tom Sweezy, episode 350, and standing in at I don't know. I was going to do the Bulls thing. Standing in at 5'10".
We need the music that's like...
Yeah. Well, we got our dude from Chicago, Jason Vivang. Jason, I think it's almost fitting that episode 350 is a decision day preview. Like, big milestone.
Oh, we did that intentionally, right?
Yeah, we skipped last week just to make sure that this was winding up with that.
I'm excited, man. This is usually, I mean, there's some great playoff pods that are obviously fun. Some of like the intro to the season pods, like previews, are really fun, but like the decision day pod has to be in the top 5 of the year, I think, just in terms of like, I really like looking ahead and like trying to speculate on matchups and seeing where things lie more than once we get the matchups trying to talk about them, because I just think it's really exciting, especially like where we're at with these conferences. Like there's a decent amount of movement that can happen, and I know we've been kind of hammering that point for weeks now, but it's still a point, you know. It's maybe gotten a little easier, but it's not clear yet.
And we'll dive into the decision day stuff in a little bit. I think when I typed out all these notes, scenarios, wins, draws, losses, all this shit, and where teams can fall. We're going to do our best to try to make it as clear as possible. I said this to Jason before the podcast. Obviously, math, not my strong suit right
We're
now.
not going through.
So we're going to do our best to make it as clear as possible.
I think we did this last year, and then at what point I had 2 teams finishing in the same spot. Or 3, like probably multiple times. So we're going to try our best, but listeners, don't fact check.
You come to the MLS Aces podcast and our social media and everything in between because you know we're passionate MLS US soccer fans, not because we do good math. Those are two separate things.
We're not math guys. We're here to just talk about the league and get excited, get people hyped up for decision day. It's literally tomorrow. So.
Yeah. So this is coming out the day of recording because, again,
lives are tough.
It happens. But I do want to quickly talk about some of the U.S. soccer news that has gone around, and we'll start with the U.S. U20 since that's pretty much one of the oldest things that we haven't discussed on this podcast. The U20s, their run comes to an end in the quarterfinals. Unfortunately, the U.S. they lost their final group stage game against South Africa 2-1. The U.S. did rotate heavily here, which you got to get these kids minutes, so fully fine. And South Africa
point
team,
of this tournament, I feel like is to see what you have in younger players.
Exactly.
So, like if you're not going to rotate at all, then you better win the thing, right?
Exactly, right. But so sure, they lost to a very good South Africa team. I didn't realize how I
also think the margins at U20 level, like between really good teams and not so good teams, are probably smaller than you have at the senior level. So
yeah, I can agree with that.
Take that with what you will. I don't know. I've never been good at that saying. So.
Well, look, you say that and I say that and I agree with you. And then the U.S. go out and beat the Italian U20 side 3-0, and I think we're the best team in the world at that point. And I'm hyped up. and look, Benjamin Kremoski with the brace, and he's having one hell of a tournament. I'm sure Parma. I mean, I would think if Kremoski was really in Parma's plans, that he probably wouldn't have gone to this U20 tournament, but now I'm sure maybe Parma's reconsidering their stance on Kremoski and maybe Inter Miami.
It's crazy to me that he actually is, like, I think of all the names, and I have to go back to, but like he's got to be one of the ones where I'm like, he's under 20 still. Like that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean he's been around.
Feels like he's had 2 full seasons of MLS.
He has.
I guess he's had a year and a half before he moved, but
yeah. I mean, look, he was him and Cole Campbell were probably the 2 biggest names on this U20 roster. And Cole Campbell didn't have a bad tournament, didn't have a great tournament. I think Kremoski had a great tournament for the U20.
Everything that was positive in the attack was honestly a lot involved him on the field.
And I think the biggest issue as the U.S. U20s, their run ended in the quarterfinals to Morocco 3-1, who Morocco are in the finals against Argentina. it really kind of just fell short, as I think this team really only having one true striker on it, and it's something we said during kind of the conversation leading up to the U20 World Cup, that it was going to be who's putting the ball in the back of the net, and it kind of just all fell short here with Morocco. And again, Morocco, very good U20 side as well. So that was the U20 World Cup. Obviously disappointed the U.S. couldn't go on a little bit more of a fun run, but this team was strong. I think we've seen some guys who've impressed and some guys who are gonna, take this and hopefully propel themselves future into their careers. Let's talk about the full senior team, though, Jason, because we did have 2 October friendlies.
We did.
We had a 1-1 draw versus Ecuador in their first October friendly, and then the U.S. went out and beat Australia 2-1 in their second friendly. Ener Valencia scored in the early in the first half for Ecuador, and then Florian Balogun, continuing his scoring role with the U.S., scored in the 71st minute. We didn't get to see the likes of Anthony Robinson or Christian Pulisic in this game, or Christian Pulisic came on later, apologies. But we didn't get to see a good full run from Pulisic, as both had some slight knocks and were kind of off to the side training leading up to this one. And then in the Australia game, it was an early goal from Australia, as the U.S. kind of really couldn't clear it out of their own box. And then we saw a Haji Wright brace and a Christian Roldan double assist game, and that had the social media going nuts.
I love it.
I mean, look, we are Christian Roldan stans. We love Roldan. I would be surprised if Roldan's not on the World Cup roster at this point. But
dude, he has totally earned his spot. I mean, he's playing like one of our best midfielders.
I mean, when you look at the group of midfield, and like, fuck it, let's just start with the U.S. combo right here, right? Like, when you look at the group of midfielders that got runs in this camp, obviously no Tyler Adams, right? But we saw Aiden Morris, Tanner Tessman, James.
Aiden Morris, who continue.
No, I'm just going to say James Sands, Christian Roldan, and I think that was really it that we saw get runs in central midfield. Christian Roldan, and I was going to say Aiden Morris for sure, the two that stood out to me.
And I feel so like
vindicated.
Vindicated. Thank God you were there for me, because I did not know what the word was.
I got you.
I feel great because Aiden Morris is someone who I've been just shouting out constantly. Like, I want to see him. I want to see him. I think he's good enough for this team. I think he's also a player that can seamlessly transition into the team, right? Like, it's not such a drastic difference in styles. So I really want to see both of them more. And I think, like you said, Roldan is, at this point, Locks is still very difficult to say, but I think he's played himself into every single camp.
Do I think, and like, I'm trying to stay, I could jump around with the U.S., but I'm trying to stay as midfield as we can right now in the conversation. Mm-hmm. I can realistically see a starting central midfield duo if, we're sticking with this 3-4-3 or whatever we want to consider it, right? I could see a realistic World Cup starting midfield duo of Tyler Adams and Christian Roldan. Like, that is something that I think.
Who would you have, like, in front of them? Tillman?
Well, that's why I'm saying I could jump around. Let's try to stick with the midfield right now. But yeah, I think
both. Wait, so you. No, Tyler Adams and Roldan.
I'm saying if we're sticking with 3 center backs, 2 wing backs, 2 in the middle. I
actually think like Roldan is like perfect for that role with Tyler Adams, because he kind of does. Like, Tyler Adams is obviously more defensive, I would say, than Roldan, but Roldan is good at playing that box to box role.
Yeah,
and then you throw a third guy that's probably more of an attacking midfielder in that trio, and boom. Win the World Cup.
My thing is, right, like, I would want, if I'm creating this in my brain and from how we're seeing it, right, like, it's going to be Tyler Adams, Christian Roldan. I think you need a more defensive guy that's going to give Tyler a little bit of a break, because we know, right, like, he's not going to be out there every minute of every game.
Well, also this back three has been, well, we'll get to it, but
I think Aiden Morris is that, as of right now, from what I'm seeing, Aiden Morris looks like to be that next D mid, quote unquote, up, right?
Well, that's kind of my point, is like, I think Aiden Morris can fill the Tyler Adams role almost like Tyler Adams, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I
I obviously, I'm not saying he's the same total quality, but, like, I think he can kind of come in to relieve Adams, and we're not gonna see a major drop-off in
He's
what
not
we're
going to
trying to
run
do.
like Tyler Adams. He's not going to be a guy who's going to make up ground and
Yeah,
space and make those big plays, but he's going to kick
but
the
he
shit out.
doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
No, no. And
He's usually in the right position where he needs to be.
he's been very good for Middlesbrough as well, and I liked what Aiden Morris did in both of these games. To me, it was like, okay, Aiden Morris and James Sands are going to get the run at the Tyler Adams spot, and let's see who
Yeah.
impresses more. And Aiden Morris, and I'm a New York City fan wearing the sweatshirt. I get it, right? He's the first homegrown in club history.
Yeah.
Like Aiden Morris won that spot over James Sands
As of now.
and it's all interchangeable. But in
I'm
my
not like, I don't think James Sands isn't going to be in the next camp.
no, I
I
fully
think both of
agree
them
with
will
that.
be and will get minutes. So
And Tanner Tessman looked fine. He had some good moments. He had some moments that I kind of just feel like he disappeared from the game as well. So we'll see if Tessman continues to be in that group of four that I think we're kind of talking about. You brought up the wings and who's going to play in front of them. We only got to see Malik Tillman in one game, the Ecuador draw, where he did have the assist to Balogun in late on in the game. I have not been thrilled with Malik Tillman as a winger in previous camps, previous games, whatever. I really liked him in this Ecuador game.
I think
thought
he's out
he
of
played
position
well.
as a winger.
Winger is not his true position for sure.
It doesn't seem seamless. It seems like cracked, you know? I don't know the right way to describe it, but I think Malik Tillman feels more natural in the middle of the field.
And I think that's where if you have Max Arfston, Anthony Robinson at left wing back, they're almost acting as the winger, where Tillman can kind of like cut inside a little bit. So I liked what I saw versus Ecuador of Malik Tillman.
He plays better when I feel like he has more freedom of like roaming the field.
Yeah.
Finding his spots, moving around. And that's where I feel like if you put him on the wing, it's more rigid. It's more of like it feels less natural.
He needs to have a little bit of freedom. And like I think we've seen that lately with him and Bayern Leverkusen. And like because right, like he plays almost like the Wilfred Nancy, like two attackers underneath the striker that really isn't that wide, right? Like that's what he kind of plays with Leverkusen. And I think that fits well, especially, and I don't say Wilfred Nancy because of Max Arfston at left wing back, but because of the attacking quality that we do have right now at the left wing back position. So to me, Tillman and Pulisic would be the two winger combo. We can obviously talk about Pulisic a little bit more, but we saw a similar thing with Weston McKennie at right winger and Timothy Weah at right wing back, right? Like Weah was pretty much in certain facets of the game acting as a right winger going forward and McKennie going inside a little bit more. I like it. I have to say I think it's I don't know. I like the tactic. It doesn't bode well when I first saw the team sheets come out and it was Tillman and McKennie on the wings, and I'm like, this has to be a mistake somewhere. But the way it flowed in the game, it flowed well. And I think in the Australia game specifically, McKennie looked much better in that role than he did in against Ecuador.
Yeah. I'm trying to see how I want to. I feel like where our wingbacks at are just in a weird spot because of the injuries. It's like that's where Dest has been hurt. Robinson continuously seems to get hurt, which is super unfortunate. But I just think like it's one of the most important positions for the way we play, especially now that we have three at the back. And I think Pochettino is really trying to figure out the best way forward because we're going to need depth on the wings, like whether it's the front wings or the guys, the wing backs, those positions feel the most kind of like sketchy.
Well, I like it because, right, like, look, I think if our wingbacks are bombing forward, whether it's Arfston, Freeman, Dest, Timothy Weah, Robinson, which those five right there, I like the combo of those five. If it's that group of five, bombing forward, and those are your creative. They're putting in crosses to these guys that are free roaming in the box, the Pulisics, the
And
Tillman,
some like
Balogun.
bigger guy. Like I feel like we got some like Tillman's like a pretty big guy.
Yeah, Balogun
McKennie
pretty
has
big.
obviously had success with crosses into him.
And
So
then you have like Pulisic, who, if you're just letting him kind of roam and be like the
I mean,
best
he could do
player.
that like Arjun Robin, cut inside,
Yeah, right. And
inverted winger.
that's what I'm saying is I like the setup. Do I think it obviously leaves us a little susceptible on the back line when we have all these guys bombing forward a little bit? Yes, and that's where you probably hope and think Tyler Adams can cover some stuff up.
That's where you have Tyler Adams who falls back. You then have a back four of basically four center backs, right? You have three guys, whether that's Chris Richards, McKenzie, Tim Ream.
Or you have one wing back going forward and the other one really has to stay strict to staying back too at the same exact point. Yeah. So look, I like what I saw in these two games. Ultimately, the final piece, I guess, really to kind of go through is the center back grouping, because like, look, the striker scored in both games. I'm not upset about the striker position. Balogun scored.
Yeah, Balogun. Well, I think of the striker position, we're starting to see a gap. Maybe.
I'm a little surprised Ajiman didn't get a minute in either game, because he was so much of Pochettino's guy before the move to Derby, and now he's playing at Derby, and now he didn't get minutes. But Haji Wright is the leading goal scorer in the championship, and he got the start in the second game and got a brace.
And Balogun obviously played very well both games. So I don't know. I think at least those two guys are starting to mark their
I'd like to see
territory, I guess. I don't know.
They're starting to
I don't know. That might not be the right way to describe that.
I want to see Haji Wright in another camp with Pochettino. I want to see, like, I'm not going to take a one game sample and be like, oh, he's the number 2 striker or the number 1 striker or whatever. But I
still want to see Sargent come back. Like,
I don't know if that's happening.
As someone who, January camp. There's no.
Yeah, but you also have Ricardo Pepi, who's been dealing with an injury. He's always going to be. Him and Sargent are like the two guys right now, like on the outside looking in, and then
rightfully so, though. Like,
is it? Sargent scored more than Ajiman right now in the same league.
What has he done with the U.S.?
I mean, he hasn't scored in like 2 years.
So at some point that comes into play.
There.
But I'm defending him, sort of. I'm saying I kind of want to see him again.
Like, what has he done?
But I do say, like,
yes,
at some point, like, I guess from this camp, it does feel like we're starting to see the team form, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we've been talking about like results and stuff, and it's just like, what is this team actually going to start looking like? And this is the first time I feel like we're starting to see what it might look like.
For sure. And to that point, we'll finish up the combo with the center backs, but to the point of what you're saying of like, we're starting to see what this team's actually looking like and how it's going to play and the guys that are most likely going to make this roster and whatnot. It's what we expected out of these camps. Pochettino said he was calling in a group of guys that was more going to replicate the World Cup roster in his brain.
Yeah, and it goes back to it might not be your, talent-wise best 11, but there are guys who are going to get minutes and going to play and
there's still spots up for grabs for sure. I just think
I think most of the team is still technically up for grabs, but I think we're starting to see guys who we're going to see a lot of minutes from in the next few months.
Can I say the last 4 games, South Korea, Japan, Ecuador, Australia, I'm starting to get re-excited about the USMNT. I don't know if maybe
we're playing like decent competition too.
Yeah, I mean, look, would I love to see like an England, Brazil, something like that thrown in? No, but I also understand like every team plays different, so you want to get different. Like, I want to see us play like a Morocco, a Senegal, or something like that soon enough. I know, right? I think like African World Cup qualifying just wrapped up, or it's close to wrapping up. I think
it's done because international break is over.
I think they're still playing.
Egypt qualified,
Morocco qualified,
Senegal I think qualified.
Ivory Coast.
Is Senegal where Mane plays?
Yes.
They qualified for sure.
We have to do a whole Cape Verde qualifier.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
We need to do a separate like World Cup. We need to. We'll talk about that after. Okay, but just to finish up with the U.S., I like where they're at. I think the center back grouping is now kind of the piece that needs to be figured out the most because it's Chris
the
Richards.
problem is there's like a big drop off between like the good ones and the ones that are gonna get called up because we need bodies.
Like Chris Richards is consistently strong. Tim Ream, like he's gonna have his good and his bad. He's almost a 40-year-old center back, right? Like to me, I really wanted to see Mark McKenzie get the minutes, and he did, and he started the second game and went a full 90. I thought he looked better against Australia than he did against Ecuador. Miles Robinson, the same, but neither of them like blew me off the TV, I guess. So
I don't know if they have to as center backs. I mean,
sure, I want everyone to be Chris Richards, okay, Jason? This is what I need. I need everyone
just playing for Palace, who is like one of the top 5 teams in the Premier League currently.
And Miles Robinson's playing for FC Cincinnati, who's fighting for second in Major League Soccer. What do you want from me? Okay, like I need excitement.
I like Miles Robinson. I think he can be a consistently good center back. I just like he's not Chris Richards, and I don't think any of these guys are Chris Richards.
I'm kind of upset we didn't get to see.
Can we clone
Vickers.
Chris Richards?
Can we? Yeah. I mean, can we get slide James Sands into center back?
Can we get 3 Chris Richards?
Right. Any closing thoughts on the USMNT before we dive into everything else we have to talk about today?
Not really. I think I said kind of like what I wanted to say, which is just we're starting to see it. And I think I agree. The excitement is starting to build because I think like the results are not necessarily my biggest concern. It's what are we actually watching? And some of the link up play, some of the goals, Haji Wright's 2 goals, Balogun's goal, it feels like we're starting to see some like consistent relationships form. I don't know if that's like the perfect word for it, but like we're starting to see those connections.
You and I went to 2 different directions there. I agree with what you were saying. We're starting to see a little passion and like running down balls and energy, and it's not so like
definitely more energy. But I just think, and then I think we'll continue to build because you get better energy when you're playing with people that you have good connections with, and it does feel like this team is starting to become a team, right? Yeah. Like I think for a while, because of the amount of call-ups and the differences in players and that, it didn't feel like a team. It's starting to feel like a team.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. On that. All right, cool. Let's move forward to Major League Soccer because there's a lot of MLS stuff to go over.
Let's do the news.
So news, 2 match days ago, the Philadelphia Union did win the 2025 MLS Supporter Shield. It's the second Union Shield since this is incorrect. It's the 2021 season. This is the incorrect was to Jason, not to you people listening. But
it is the 2021
season. I wrote down the wrong season in the notes, but it is the Union second Shield in the last half decade. They secure home field advantage for the entirety of the MLS Cup playoffs as long as they're alive. They secure their 2026 Champions Cup spot as well. And this was a little fun fact I wanted to throw in. Bradley Cardinal's 3 seasons as a full-time manager in Major League Soccer, he's now finished top of his conference 2 times. One with the expansion side, St. Louis, and then now with the Philadelphia Union. So I think St. Louis done fucked up, if you ask me. But that's
I mean, I don't think that's a hot take.
Yeah.
Wait, let's check. They have 31 points. They have literally less than half.
They fired their manager that they hired in, before the season started. Like they fired him 10 games in or something like that. What was his name? I completely.
Don't ask me, man. It's been he's gone now. It's just out of mind. You know how much is in this brain? Barely enough to get by. But
I think we need
gone is gone.
I think we need to give the Philadelphia Union a little bit of just a quick. It's old news, so I don't want to sit here and harp on it too long. But we need to give them their love of the complete, I think, team effort that happened.
Total turnaround.
Well, I'm saying total turnaround. They didn't make the playoffs last year, fired Jim Curtin. Everyone thought they were going to suck. To Bradley Cardinal, is he the right hire? To are these guys past their prime? Who's the next youth stepping up? And now they won the Shield, right? It's incredible to me the job that Bradley Carnell has done, Ernst Tanner has done in this front office, and then the credit to the guys who just kind of like did their job. Like Donley Jean-Jacques was one of the best, if not the best, like defensive midfielder in the league. Ty Baribo was a 16 goal scorer. Indiana Vasilev stepped up. Kai Wagner had 11 assists and dominates at left back like he does every year. Quinn Sullivan's been great. Makanya, who was a U22 signing from a few years ago that people probably forgot about, has stepped up to be one of the best young center backs in the league next to Jakob Glesnes, who's probably a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. Like this, so many pieces all around this team. There's not one star. You can't sit here and say that about the Philadelphia Union, and I don't think you ever really
They've also
could.
dealt with some big injuries. Like Andre Blake has missed time.
Yeah, and
that
then
was like a death sentence for them for a long time.
Give a shout out to Andrew Rick, the teenage goalkeeper that's had to step up and play some big minutes in net, right? Like this was a complete team effort to get the Philadelphia Union back into MLS relevancy, back into Champions Cup, into another trophy. And I just think it's not just one person, it's the entire organization from front office to coaching staff down to the players and the youth players underneath them that got the team back to this point. So just shout out to Philadelphia Union in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, like this team, I feel like towards the beginning of the season when they got off to that hot start was like, well, it's early. They're going to fall off. They didn't fall off.
Had 100 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, and it was like, there's no way this lasts. But it did. Like, I think, and I personally will say this about myself, I didn't believe in the Philadelphia Union, right? No. Like, I think they weren't a team that I was looking at. Obviously, most people weren't looking at this team in the beginning of the season or before the season thinking they're going to do anything.
Yeah.
And they've consistently outplayed everyone they've played, basically. Like, and I think like that back line, best back line in the league right now. I mean, lowest goals against, 33 goals against this season, which is the lowest in the league.
And where is there a weak link? Like there is
exactly. I mean, these guys are, and I think, I don't know if we were wrong to pick them low, but looking at their team, it's actually like a pretty solid, like.
Well, look, that's looking back, with 2020 vision, right?
It's hard to look back.
We were not the only people, whether you look at the big names out there, and I'm not trying to call people out, but I've openly heard them specifically say it as well, so I think it's okay to say. Tom Bogert, David Goss, Matt Doyle, like
I don't think they would. They're not gonna. Those aren't the guys that are hiding behind their cakes either.
No,
they're gonna go. Yeah, we didn't think that or whatever. So,
but what I'm saying is, like, I've openly heard those guys say it, and I think we can agree to the point of not many people picked the Philadelphia Union to be good, to make the playoffs, and if they did, it wasn't really past the play-in game, right. So I think we have to own it just as much as everyone else, and the Philadelphia Union are probably looking at people like us going like, F you guys, because we did it. And
hey, if we're bulletin board material and this is why they got here, good for us.
Play this in the locker room.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just think like incredible at home, right? They lost one game at home all season. And also really good away record, like one of the very few teams. I mean, we were talking about some away records before the pod started, but one of like the few teams that actually had a winning record on the road, which is not usual. So that fully deserved. They finished this season really well. So they have 5 wins in their last 6 games. So it's not like the Supporter Shield was coming down to the wire, but they fully took hold of it. They didn't let up. I think they're going into the playoffs in a really, really good spot. So overall, like fully deserved, like really, really Ty Baribo specifically, just very, very good season from him that I think nobody could have seen coming.
And, there's all the big reports that the Union don't want to sign him to a contract, and we'll see where he ends up. Cool. Let's keep it moving. So after the last few match days, we've seen Austin FC and the Portland Timbers secure their spots in the 2025 MLS Cup playoffs, and Houston get eliminated. We'll talk about that more when we talk about Decision Day. Jordi Alba announces his retirement from professional soccer after the 2025 MLS season. He just signed.
There's better ones.
Just signed and I'm I'm going to quickly
No,
run.
I'm just joking.
To be honest, he just signed a contract extension like a few months ago, so that's a little weird. But DP left back. He's won a Leagues Cup and a Supporter Shield with Miami. He's been a best 11 left back, 2-time MLS All-Star. He'll hopefully. I'd like to see him hit the 100-game mark for Inter Miami. He's at 95 right now, so.
Rodrigo De Paul becomes a DP, right, next season?
Well, that was for Busquets' DP spot.
So what are we thinking?
This is I sent you the
Neymar.
No, this is the Fabrizio Romano reported it, right? That left back that was at Tottenham. I think that's where this slots in. I would really, if it would be cool for them not to sign him to a DP deal, but I guess we will see what they're
going to do some sketchy stuff over the offseason for sure.
Yeah, classic Miami.
Whatever. Jordi Alba, great career, but MLS career, I'm not here to talk that long about it when we've got better ones.
Exactly. Fully agree. And I think the guy who's more deserving of an MLS conversation between me and yourself is Darlington Nagbe, who also announced his retirement from professional soccer after the 2025 MLS season. The 35-year-old central midfielder is a 4-time MLS Cup champion, an Open Cup champion, Leagues Cup champion, 2-time Campeones Cup champion, and has won the Gold Cup with the USMNT. He's a 3-time MLS All-Star. At time of recording, he has 525 games played between the Portland Timbers, Columbus Crew, and Atlanta United. 44 career goals, 37 career assists. He has 25 caps for the USMNT, a goal and 2 assists there. Like I said, he's won with the US as well. He was an NCAA champion with Akron and won the Mac Herman Trophy there, the best player in college soccer. Like, he is a winner wherever he has gone in his career. And in my opinion, and I will say this wholeheartedly, if you do not have him in your MLS Mount Rushmore, and I'm talking all teams, all time, all positions, you're fucking up with that opinion. That is what I have to say. Darlington Nagbe is the epitome of what you could ask an American soccer player to be and to have done, and he has succeeded at every single level and club he has played for. So I don't have much to say other than thank you, Darlington Nagbe, because it has been it's been amazing watching his career fold out from college to where it's now ended with the Columbus Crew. So that's what I have to say about Darlington Nagbe.
Yeah, I mean, how can you watch MLS in the last decade plus and not have him as one of your favorite players? Whether you put him in the Mount Rushmore or not, sure, that's whoever's opinion.
Agree with that take, but yes.
But no, I just think what a likable dude. I love this guy. I absolutely have always loved Darlington Nagbe, and I'm gonna go way back. I think that was at the height of Timber Jason. Was Darlington Nagbe on the Portland Timbers?
Yes,
and he's one of the reasons that I feel and I think Dax McCarty is probably in a similar level for me in terms of these are Darlington Nagbe is one of those guys that I feel has taken what I love about MLS and made it so much more. Why I'm doing this to begin with is because of guys like him who you can watch on any team and you just tip your hat, oh, he just kicked my ass. I love it. I've always, specifically, I think with Portland and Columbus, was when you just got to see him at the peak of his powers, where he was just incredible. There were games where he ran the show, and I think overall, incredible career as an MLS player, one of the best ever to do it. I don't know, man. I'm gonna miss him a lot. I think for me, this is one of those really. This one's tough because I think he's got to be everyone's favorite. If you're out there and you don't like Darlington Nagbe, say something. And there's going to be no one that says anything because nobody doesn't like Darlington. You can't not like him.
And look, he's played with some of the best players around Major League Soccer. Diego Valeri and that time with the Portland Timbers, the Joseph and Almiron days of Atlanta United, to what we're seeing now with the striker that Columbus sold to La Liga Cucho.
I was
Like,
like,
and he's played with the likes of Cucho Hernandez under Wilfred Nancy. Like, he's played on some of the best and most.
He's played for some really good coaches.
Yeah, exactly. He is the type of guy that I wish, in a selfish manner, and I understand why he did it. It was a personal decision for him. I wish we got to see more for the USMNT.
Yeah,
he is the type of like locksmith, like dude, you're not getting the ball off of. He's controlling the midfield. He'd be the type of guy I'd love to see Tyler Adams play next to in the World Cup. Like still,
at his peak was like he would just like I said, he would just run games on his own. Like he was at his best unmissable on the field. Like you couldn't turn the game on and not see him because he was going to leave his mark. And I think in the Columbus MLS Cup, didn't he like dominate? I feel like I don't remember.
Well, he won 2 with Columbus. Remember, I think the first one he missed because of an injury, and that's where Aiden Morris got the start.
Oh, that's when Aiden Morris really broke out. That was a great Aiden Morris game.
That was a great Aiden Morris game. And then the second one he got to play in and win, and I think really got his flowers. I mean, look, 4 MLS Cups is no joke. He just missed out on the Supporter Shield really for trophies that he could have won. But a fantastic career to Darlington Nagbe, and he will be definitely missed. The final retirement announcement we should bring up is Brad Guzan announcing his retirement at the end of the day on Saturday, because Atlanta United are not in the MLS Cup playoffs. The 41-year-old goalkeeper is an MLS Cup champion, Open Cup champion, Campeones Cup champion. He's won 3 Gold Cups, MLS Goalkeeper of the Year, MLS Best 11, 2-time MLS All-Star, close to 550 games between Atlanta, Aston Villa, Chivas USA, Hull City, and Middlesbrough, and obviously the 64 caps with the U.S. men's national team. I mean, Guzan's one of those guys that came in like early days of Major League Soccer.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many more players that are going to retire are going to have Chivas USA on there?
Mark Delgado, I think he might be
the last one.
Honestly. But yeah, drafted by Chivas USA, impressing.
Crazy.
Young.
That shows everything you need to see. It's just how long he's been around.
Literally goes to Europe, has a very strong career in England in the Premier League, and was a starting goalkeeper in the Premier League for a very long time before.
I mean, he would have been like long-term U.S. -- if Tim Howard wasn't around.
I mean, look, the battles between him and Tim Howard, like you don't see a goalkeeper 1 and goalkeeper 2 on a roster like Guzan and Howard for a while.
Years,
so he was, if not, like I said, like I literally just said, if he was not the number 1 keeper, he was the number 2 and the strongest thing you were going to find anywhere on a national team scale. And
he was like playing incredible. He helped Atlanta last season, like just last year. Partially was because of him.
That is the the fun, nice ending to his career was the Atlanta run in the playoffs and knocking off Miami and all of that. And look, he didn't get to raise a trophy in Europe, in England, but he got to come to Atlanta, be the starting goalkeeper for one of the best teams that we've seen in MLS history. Again, going back to the Nagbe, Josef Martinez, Miguel Almiron days, and and be a very good keeper in Major League Soccer with Chivas USA and coming back with Atlanta United as well. So just a shout out to Brad Guzan for his tenure with the USMNT and within Major League Soccer as well. Cool. Is that good on the MLS notes, Jason?
Yeah, I just oh man, those 2 guys retiring is crazy.
Brad Guzan.
It makes me sad.
It does. Like Nagbe hurts my MLS heart. Guzan hurts my USMNT heart.
I agree. Yeah,
sense?
Nagbe hurts in the MLS way. That's like, we're really not going to see him again.
Yeah.
On an MLS field. Like, damn. And
Guzan
is like, I thought this guy was going to play till he was 60.
Literally. I thought his career bounced back.
He was still he's still good.
He was bad this year.
Yeah, but I mean, he had that run last year, so there was still talent there. Obviously, I think he's retiring. Don't get me wrong. I think he's retiring at the right time. I just think you
just don't want it to end.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that some of these guys were on teams that I really built my soccer love from.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. All right, let's cover decision day. Let's talk decision day. Every single MLS team is at 33 games played. We're equal, we're even, and we are heading into one of the most magical days of the Major League Soccer calendar. It's opening day, it's decision day, it's MLS Cup. To me, those are the three big ones, and I love them every single year. Let's do it. And I think we should start with the Eastern Conference because this one's a little bit more neither of these conferences are straightforward, but it's a little bit more straightforward in terms of we know the 10 teams we're talking about.
We also know like the like pools of teams.
Like, yeah, exactly.
It's like these two teams are either going to be second or third. These two teams are either going to be fourth or fifth. These three teams are
exactly.
boxes or whatever.
It does get a little weird with like 6 down, but we'll dive into it.
Well, we can go. Yeah, whatever.
I got you. No, I get what you're saying. So what is at stake for in the Eastern Conference on decision day? We only have one team right now that knows where they're going to finish. Obviously, we've talked Philadelphia Union Supporter Shield winners, #1 in the Eastern Conference, right? But seeding for second place all the way down to 9th place in the Eastern Conference is up for grabs, which is going to make this very confusing and fun. And I won't be stressed out neither of us will be stressed out. I get to say it for you this year, Jason. We both will be very stressed out as to see where our team finishes.
Dude, I don't know. I don't think you can say that for me. I don't know if I am stressed out. I'm just excited.
I like that mindset. I like the mindset.
I'm really excited. I think like we'll get to the fire, but I think some drop points were really unfortunate because we could be in a very different spot right now.
But you're back.
I'm excited, man. We're back.
All right, we're going to go through all the Eastern Conference games right now. Not all of them because I think DC and Atlanta play. I'm not talking about that. Sorry.
That was my game of the week.
Shit. So yeah, there is no Jason's game of the week is watch decision day.
Yeah.
But let's go through the
we're going to talk about a lot of games, so just watch decision day. Like that's what it is.
Grab a beer, grab a soda, whatever you like, sit on your couch, put MLS 360 on and just watch decision day. That's it. That is your plans tomorrow, this Saturday. So all the Eastern Conference games except for the one New York City plays Seattle in a weird cross divisional.
I hate when they we just got
because there's 15
teams.
I
know, but figure it out, MLS. Stop doing this to me. It's like sometimes a game doesn't get played. Sometimes, when are they playing? Are they playing with the Eastern Conference?
They're playing with the Eastern Conference. Okay. Yeah. So they are the early games. But
Seattle's just going to be sitting around watching soccer.
Knowing where they pretty much. Not knowing, I guess. They need other teams to finish. But whatever. So Eastern Conference games are all on at 6 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Let's start with it. Charlotte FC versus Philadelphia Union. Philadelphia Union, like I said, know where they are. We're done talking Union. That's it. Charlotte FC. Let's look at it from their perspective here. So,
do Philly rotate? Do we think?
Well,
because I think it matters based, to my opinion of how this game goes.
See, the thing about Philly rotating is I
don't think they have that mindset.
Philly, one, not that deep of a team. 2, Philly's dealt with a lot of.
Doesn't mean they can't rotate. They're playing for nothing,
which is fair. They've dealt with a lot of injuries. That you've mentioned Andre Blake. There's Ian Glavinovich is out on the season-ending injury list. Quinn Sullivan's out on the season-ending.
That doesn't mean they can't come back for playoffs, right?
No, it does. They're all kinds of done. But the other thing is, last time we saw the Union rotate was that midweek versus Vancouver, where the Whitecaps won 20-0. So Bedoya was playing
7 or something.
He was playing right back. So I do have concerns if Philly do rotate. I think they do. I'm gonna say
concerns. Not for them. You mean
no concerns as in I think it's an easy win for Charlotte if Philly does decide to rotate.
Oh, you have concerns for your team.
Yeah, that's where the concerns come in. So look, I personally think Philly rotates, but just to go through the cases here, if Charlotte wins, that locks them in at 4th place. If Charlotte draws, they can finish as high as 4th, but as low as 5th. And
what is the tiebreaker after goal differential?
So it's goal difference. It's it's points, then it's wins. is the second goal difference.
Wins is second.
Then it's goal differential.
Yeah, so if they win, they're definitely fourth.
Yeah, and look, I looked at goal differential in some of these cases. I really made it like realistic. Like if it was a -12 goal differential,
well, that's what the reason I asked was because New York and Charlotte are both on 7.
wins is the second tiebreaker.
Yeah, if they whatever.
And then lastly, if Charlotte does lose, they still can finish as high as 4th, but they can also finish as low as 6th. So, Jason, I personally think Philly rotates. I personally think Charlotte is going to start their best 11 and try to lock themselves into 4th place.
I mean, this is one of the most crucial playoff spots, right? Like
for sure, it's locking into the final playoff.
Yeah, so like what we're discussing is 4th versus 5th is the lowest they can finish.
No, 6th if they lose.
6th if they lose. Regardless,
well, they can finish.
Regardless, 4th is obviously the best position out of all of those. So,
they want the home,
especially given the matchup too.
Yeah, I mean the matchup helps, right? Like my whole thing is right. Like you're not going to guarantee a home playoff spot, but you get a better shot at it, definitely, right? Like,
well, they will guarantee if they.
I'm saying throughout the entirety of the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Throughout the entirety of the playoffs. So I'm going Charlotte with the win. Like I said, I think Philly rotates. I think Charlotte want that guaranteed at least one round of home playoff games, and I think it makes sense. One team's playing for something, the other team's not.
I know they can't like go back and change the schedule, but it really bothers me that like they could have put like the Galaxy versus like DC as the cross game, like one that didn't matter, like because
the wooden spoon matchup.
Your game's actually going to matter for both teams.
Yes, it's just the excitement.
Well, I guess it doesn't really matter for Seattle; they're kind of locked in. But anyway, I think Charlotte gets the 4th spot. Whether they win or draw that, I think they still probably get the 4th spot.
Okay, so we have our picks there. Let's go to FC Cincinnati versus Montreal. Not talking Montreal here as they're eliminated from the playoffs, but Cincinnati with the win secures.
I'm choosing already.
Secures 2nd place in the Eastern Conference. With a draw, Cincinnati can still finish 2nd, but also as low as 3rd. And if they lose, they can still finish a 2nd, but as low as 3rd, depending on the Miami game. I'm with
basically you. It's them or Miami for 2nd and 3rd.
Exactly, and that is where I fully agree with you. There's been some signs of life from Montreal in recent weeks, but I think Cincinnati's playing for something. They're playing for the number 2 seed. They want to, again, you're playing for a home playoff spot, and the higher you are, the more likely you're hosting MLS Cup if you make it all the way there. So
I also I think, especially with the East this season, it has been so competitive, but we've started to see the great separate from the good, separate from the mid, I guess. Even I would say like the teams even at the bottom of the playoffs are still pretty good, but you know what I mean? Like I think finishing 2nd versus 3rd actually makes a difference because who they might play.
For sure.
In the first round. Obviously, like seeding for the whole playoffs matters, but like I think we should be looking at the first round matchups a little bit with what these teams are
potential first round matchups. I mean, look, that's the tough thing though, is right. Like we don't know, these clubs don't know. I think you just want to finish as high as possible to hopefully get the worst team and you hopefully get home field advantage. For sure. So, and I forgot, this also kickstart us keeping track of picking games and who's right and who's wrong, Jason. So I forgot about that, but this is the kickstart of that time of year.
Oh, we're doing that before the playoffs this year. Did we do that last year?
I think Decision Day we kept track of it, so I think we should.
Well, because there can be draws in Decision Day.
I know it. Fine. We'll just see you Decision Day, and then we'll pick.
I think we should do Decision Day on its own.
And then playoffs
as on its own.
Got it.
Because I like the playoffs being like the playoffs. Like then it's like we're picking each round.
Yeah.
Which I killed it last year.
You did. You smoked me last year.
I was amazing last year. I was like, I should start betting on this.
All right, let's keep it going. Columbus Crew versus, and I just went in order of what it said on the MLS schedule on the website, so that's why I'm going this way for game's sake. But Columbus Crew will be hosting the New York Red Bulls. We're not talking the Red Bulls as they're eliminated from the playoffs. This is where it gets wild. So Columbus, if they win and other results go their way, can finish as high as 6th, but as low as 9th, which is you're the away team in the playing game. If they draw or lose, that sets them into that 9th spot. So Columbus needs to win if they want to have any hopes of avoiding the play-in game. They still can technically if everyone else wins, but this is an interesting one. It is the best worst team in the Eastern Conference going up against the worst best team in the Eastern Conference right now. Obviously, the Red Bulls eliminated the Crew in the playoffs last year, so there's a little bit of that history there. I don't know. I don't know if I have the faith in Columbus right now to get it done.
I will go with my pick first if you want.
That's fine. Yeah.
I think the Red Bulls win this.
Wow.
I think the Rebels aren't a team that's just going to be like, oh, season's over. I think they're going to want to end on a high note and just be like, let's go into next season. There's still a lot of talent on the Rebels. They were fighting for the playoff spot pretty late into the season until it kind of a gap formed. Did you put where it is? It's in
Columbus. First team.
Ooh, that makes me very unconfident. But I'm going to stick with my pick.
I'm going to put some confidence in Forsberg and Choupo-Moting that they're gonna show up till the last.
It's also their last game. They're gonna go all out, or they should. I mean, you're off for months after this, so
I'm picking a draw. I think we're picking the same result that the Crew end up in 9th place in the Eastern Conference, but I'm going draw just purely based off Forsberg and Choupo-Moting.
Okay.
And yeah, you're going Red Bulls.
Well, I think a draw is probably the safer bet given the away for the Red Bulls.
The away form.
But I think neither team is on decent form right
No,
now.
neither. And
neither team makes me super confident. I just think if you're the Rebels versus Columbus, I think why not go for it? Go for everything here.
Why not spoil someone else's season? Why not? that is a mindset that organization.
The last thing you can do, right?
No. Exactly. Last game, go out with a big spoil fest, I guess. Okay, Nashville SC will be hosting Inter Miami. This is where we got to talk about both teams. So, if Nashville win, they can see them as high as 4th, but as low as 6th. If Miami win, they can finish as high as 2nd and as low as 3rd still, because Cincinnati hold the tiebreaker on them. If Nashville draw, then realistically, we'll see them as high as 6th, but as low as 7th. If Miami draw, same thing for them, right? As high as 2nd and as low as 3rd, depending on the Cincinnati result. And then for Nashville, if they lose, we can see them as high as 6th, but as low as 8th. And if Miami loses, that sets them officially in 3rd place. This is an interesting one. You got the Open Cup champions. You got a team that has a little bit of a history with Inter Miami in that Leagues Cup final and everything like that. And you have a team in Nashville that's kind of hitting on some cylinders right now against, obviously, Lionel Messi and Miami. And Messi's on absolute dominant fucking form right now. Do you want me to go first? Because I don't.
We can switch off. I don't think we switched off in the beginning, but
it's fine. I can go. I don't feel confident about it. I will be perfectly honest. I think Miami win on the road. I don't think Messi's form right now is touchable in any capacity.
Messi's getting a goal contribution.
Yeah, at
so
least.
Can Nashville get 2?
Which
right? That's kind of what it is.
I think Messi's getting at least a goal contribution. I would say more. He is right now your Golden Boot leader with 26 goals. He's your assist leader, tied with Anders Dreyer at 18 assists. He's the dude. He's the man. He's on fire, and I think Miami get the job done to try to get themselves into 2nd place. And the defense has looked much better in recent weeks for Miami. That's fine.
I think Nashville's at home. I think Nashville has a little bit more, it sounds weird, but they have a little bit more to play for, I think. And they're a team that Sam Surge is going to score, man, against that.
Lionel Messi.
Okay, yeah. I was maybe going to say a draw. I just don't think Miami does draws very well.
No, they don't. They really don't. Look, they've drawn more than they've lost right now in Major League Soccer, so that is something to take into consideration.
Not for long, actually.
But
Yeah, not for long.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely fair. And I mean, look, Nashville are playing for something, right? They
I
could,
think Nashville are playing for a home playoff game.
or the possibility, the hopes of
Right.
a
Yeah.
playoff game, which
Well, I
is
guess based
fair.
on what I've picked, they're not getting it. But
Yeah, but still, they are playing for. They don't know the result. They're playing for the possibility of
right.
it,
Yeah.
and I fully agree with you. I just think, Jason, you're a big BJ guy. You're a big BJ Cal guy. That's
Easy. You can't just say shit like that on the pod.
BJ Callahan. What are we talking about?
Obviously, I love BJ Callahan. Yeah.
Exactly. Who isn't a big BJ guy, really?
Right.
All right. New England Revolution versus the Chicago Fire. We're not talking New England as they're eliminated. With the Fire win, they can finish as high as 6th, but as low as 8th. With the Fire draw, they can finish as high as 7th, but as low as 9th. And with the Fire loss, they can finish as high as 8th and as low as 9th. So a result here really is big for you guys. Well, not a result. A win here is really big for you guys to make sure that you're not, or you're getting the best possibility to not play in the play-in game. And if you are playing in the play-in game, at least hosting the play-in game. The form has dipped from the how hot the Chicago Fire were for a few match days and a few games, but I still think the scoring and the form is there. I'll let you go first since this is your
What are
team.
you talking about dipped? It's because we draw Toronto, which is
Yes.
an absolute shame. But we're 3 wins and a draw in the last 4.
I think it hasn't been as dominant.
Fair, it has not. And like we allow a lot of goals in the last couple games, right?
I think you guys have allowed the second most goals in the Eastern Conference outside of Inter Miami.
58. Let's look.
Oh, you've allowed more goals than Inter Miami.
Yeah,
That's wild.
we're the 3rd most goals allowed in the Eastern Conference.
That is
the only 2 higher than us are Atlanta and DC. But we scored.
But
and I'm picking a win here. I'm going to say it already.
Okay.
I think in Greg Berhalter, I trust. If he needs to win one game, he's going to have these guys ready to win the game. So let's do it.
I'm with you, especially.
And it's New England. Like,
you are on the road, though. You are on the road. That is the tricky part. You guys have a good road record.
I was going to say our road record is almost better than home. So actually, it is better than home.
More wins on the road, but yes, for sure. I mean, look, I'm going with you. I think Chicago get the win and secure themselves as best as they possibly can.
I'll do one better. I think. Why did they play Toronto? I'm just gonna say it. We are getting in the playoffs. We are not playing in that playing game.
Positivity. Look, I think you guys are just the Midwest Inter Miami at this point, but we'll get to, I guess, I don't know. We'll get to where we pick everyone to be.
I don't think we're gonna be able to do that. That's tough.
No, I mean, I might have to pause this, but yes, we will see. We have the final 2 games technically in the Eastern Conference. New York City hosting the Seattle Sounders. We'll talk Seattle specifically when we get to the West, Jason, but New York City with a win could be as high as 4th, as low as 5th. New York City with a draw can be as high as 4th, as low as 6th, and with a loss as high as 5th, but as low as 7th. So New York City is locked into a true playoff spot, fighting for a home playoff spot or the possibility of it with a draw or with a win. But I'll go Homer.
You're home, and it's a big deal with them.
Traveling cross country. The Sounders really aren't playing for much in the Western.
It is kind of crazy that that's the schedule they made. You got to travel maybe the furthest they can travel in MLS, or I guess Florida might be further, but
one of the furthest trips. I like it. I like a team traveling cross country, not playing for much. I like the New York City's form is decent right now. We are at home. We have Yankee Stadium for the entire playoffs. Thank you, Blue Jays. And I'm going New York City FC win. That's what I'm going with in this one.
Man, I don't want to pick the same, and I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm gonna pick a draw here.
That's fair. That's fine.
I just feel like Seattle isn't gonna
roll over.
Yeah, just because they don't have technically anything to play for. I think they're gonna want to go into the playoffs with good vibes going. I also just think talent-wise, they're still insanely good. Christian Roldan.
It's a Brian Schmetzer team.
I mean, they're not gonna. I don't know. I'm just gonna go draw. I'm not super confident. I think I would probably have picked Seattle if this was in Seattle.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
I'd be picking Seattle if New
yeah,
York City
yeah.
had to go
But I
draw.
think being in New York makes this a lot tougher. New York is very, very good at home. They
New
always have.
York, yeah, 11 wins on the season at home, and Seattle on the road are 4-8-4.
Yeah.
Like
So I'm not like super confident. I think it's just I'm feeling a draw here. I
that's fine.
don't really have much to go off of behind it or whatever.
Sometimes you got to listen to the heart, Jason. Okay, sometimes
Yeah.
you got to listen to it. The last Eastern Conference game: Toronto FC versus Orlando City in Toronto. An Orlando win. We're not going to talk Toronto because they're eliminated, but an Orlando win could see them as high as 6th, but as low as 7th. Orlando draw can see them as high as 6th, but as low as 8th.
Oh my God! Wait,
And
I'm sorry.
then,
Pause real quick.
yeah, what happened?
Toronto's form is crazy.
Oh yeah, they had the MLS record draws 9 in a row, I think it was, or 8 in a
They
row.
have not won an MLS game since July 16th.
Yeah, that's so fucking bad.
They have
And
I
think it was 8 draws in a row.
8 draws in a
record.
row before they
Yeah.
lost to LAFC.
Yeah, yeah.
That's insane. I'm sorry. I had to
No,
I scrolled down on the form chart and was like, what?
it's fair because I'm picking Orlando on the road to win this game, which maybe I shouldn't feel as confident as I do because Toronto magically gets late goals to pick up, a draw pretty much. But I'm gonna go Orlando, kind of right the ship a little bit through
Yeah,
their
this is my problem because I feel like Orlando has just been
bad.
yeah.
The
I
form's
didn't want to say like bad because they've played Vancouver, Columbus, Cincinnati, Nashville in their last 4, which is tough, but like I'm not confident in them.
How in the past when we've talked about Orlando City in big games and in the playoffs with like Oscar Pareja, where it's like at some point Pareja just makes like 6 defensive subs and they just like hold on for dear life. They've been doing that over the last like 5 games.
Like was it during the Open Cup when they were still in it and their form was just at an insane level, and now I just don't feel good about them. I personally feel so. I'm actually going to go with a Toronto win.
Ooh,
which is I think a pretty bold.
They haven't won since July. But
I mean, I that's why I scrolled. That's why I looked.
Yeah,
I was I feel like they're going to win, and then I was like, do I just go draw? But I think I'm going to go with a win. I think I'm just going to lock it and just be like, if I lose on this one, I will not be surprised at all, right? Like, I think Orlando's obviously the better team. I'm just not that confident in where Orlando is right now. And I haven't been like, when I was watching them a month and a half ago, I was like, this team is a top 4 team in the East. Right now, I'm like, if this was their season, I don't know if they make the playoffs.
I fully agree with you. The only thing that I think, shout out Michele Giannone, I think he said this fact the other day, and I was like, ooh, I really like this Orlando City fact, is they have the most goal contributions from their DPs between Muriel, Ojeda, and Pasalic. They have the most goal contributions in all of Major League Soccer from their DPs, which is what you want to see.
They also score a lot. They're like one of 5 teams with 60 goals.
Exactly. They score. They also allow goals, and lately they've been allowing more goals. But I think
I'm not confident with the pick. I'm just gonna stick it because I think it also helps my agenda with fire.
I got it. So don't listen to Jason because he has a full-on Chicago Fire. His team finally.
I have a manifesto for decision day.
This is the first time the Fire are in playoff conversation on this podcast, and you're just going full evil. You're going full like my team.
You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose.
All right, let's go to the Western Conference. All the Western Conference games outside of Seattle, New York City, are being played at 9 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Let's actually do the New York City Seattle game since we already like talked about it. Obviously, Jason, you picked a draw. What did I just say before? You picked a draw. I picked New York City.
I mean, so everything applies. There's nothing more to add because Seattle can't change their position.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I also fucked up with the notes here, but I don't think anyone.
Well, I mean, you can just delete your notes because there's nothing more to add to this.
No, I thought someone could jump Seattle. Am I making that up?
No, because Austin's
No,
on 47. They're on
Seattle's
52.
locked in.
Minnesota's on 58. They are locked in fifth.
Seattle is locked into fifth place. So
Now,
yes,
whether they play San Diego, LAFC, or Minnesota is up for
but they
grabs.
can't control that. So
No,
that's really that.
And we're
So
going to talk
yes,
about that. But yeah, my
let's
point is
get into the rest of the West. Colorado Rapids hosting LAFC. Colorado. So before I get into the entire matchups, there are two playoff spots left in the entirety of Major League Soccer. They are play-in game spots. They're 8th and 9th in the Western Conference, and there's 4 teams that can possibly get those spots. It's FC Dallas, Real Salt Lake, Colorado Rapids, and the San Jose Earthquakes. And, we dive right into it with this Rapids LAFC matchup. So if the Rapids win, they'll see them as high as 8th place, but they can finish as low as 10th place. If the Rapids draw, it can be as high as 8th, but as low as 11th. And if the Rapids lose, they miss the playoffs no matter what. There's also the seeding for LAFC here, Jason, to your point, where if they win, they're finishing as high as 2nd, but as low as 3rd. And if LAFC draw or lose, it will see them finish as high as 3rd, but as low as 4th. So LAFC locked into a home playoff spot, but it's all about where they are in those home playoffs. For the Colorado Rapids, they're hanging on for dear life at home for just playoffs, period. So this is a tough one for me to really pick. I don't know if you feel more strong about it than I do.
I do feel strong because
Give it to me.
I'm picking LAFC. I think Son is back from international break, right?
Yes, him and Bouanga.
And so I think this team is one of the best teams in the league when everyone's there.
And
I just as someone who likes Colorado and thinks they're fun and would love to see them in the playing game, I just think LAFC is a tough draw for decision day, especially because LAFC with Son and Bouanga looks as close to an unbeatable team as you can get. They're just I think I said it 2 weeks ago, when those two guys are clicking and they've built a great relationship, it seems really quickly. They're probably the scariest team to me right now in the West.
Scariest duo for sure.
I think they're just going to be too much for a Colorado team that's still pretty young and going through somewhat of a transition again, every year. So
the thing that would hurt me with this Colorado Rapids team is if they lose. I definitely think Chris Armas loses his job, and I don't like that. I like Armas as a coach.
I also think I don't think it would be worth it. Who are they getting that's going to be better?
I can't think of his name. Former Timbers coach Gio Savarese. I'm a big Gio Savarese.
Okay, that would be interesting.
Look at me.
I like that. That's a great poll. Okay, if they get Gio Savarese, I'm okay with it. If they don't, I'm probably not going to be happy with it.
All right, I'm going with an LAFC win in that one as well. I just think, to your point, Son and Bouanga are on different levels. They're connecting really well, makes the entire team around LAFC better. And even without, I know they lost the game in the final stretch without them, but I think even without them, they're playing at a very high level. Rapids.
They had 6 straight wins before they lost 1 out in Austin. I'm not without Son and Bouanga, so I'm not taking.
I think defensively, LAFC are just very strong as well, even without.
Well, and I think when you bring in their 2 best players, their defense also benefits quite a bit. I think their transition play, when you have your 2 best players who are arguably 2 best 11th level players.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even think that's arguable. They just are.
The only reason why Son won't be on the best 11 is because he's played 8 games.
What is his goal contributions at, actually?
I can look that up if you want to finish up your thought on.
Yeah. Well, anyway, just to finish is the fact that I think when both of those guys are there, this losing to Austin is unimportant, I guess, in my eyes, because they had 6 straight wins with those guys. Or I guess I don't know if they were there for that Toronto game.
Hyunmin Son has hit his 10 goal contribution mark. I don't know if that's the number we initially said, but
12.
He's at 8 goals, 2 assists in 9 games.
And they got one more.
Let's
see it. That's ridiculous. First of all, he's so good. But yeah, I don't think there's much more to add. Otherwise, I'd just be repeating the fact that LAFC is a different beast with these 2 guys.
I will also say this to any Human Son fans out there watching this or listening to this. It is not ridiculous because Human Son is a bad player. It's ridiculous because he is that good, is what I'm saying. Let's go to the next game.
How would anyone skew that?
I don't know. I don't know how we also got taken out of context with the initial Human Son take, but
hey, I was fine with it. What, like 500 people watched the video or something?
That was a ridiculous out of nowhere. Like the Korean fan base really just went through the roof.
They're like, what are whatever. We're done talking about that. It's funny, honestly.
LA Galaxy versus Minnesota United. Galaxy we're not going to talk about as they're eliminated. They have 0 road wins. That's funny. Minnesota, with a win, they could finish as high as second, but as low as fourth. And then Minnesota with a draw or a loss locks them into fourth. So most likely, I feel like we're seeing Minnesota around fourth place, but there is a chance that they can finish much higher in the standings.
Well, based on what we just said with LAFC, they're, I guess, in our world, they can only finish third or fourth.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think most likely see them around the fourth place spot, more likely. But I don't know. The Galaxy team is weird to me. Like this team is like shown obviously up much better from like the 16 winless streak that they were on or whatever, but still don't have enough for me to feel super confident about them. But kind of similar with this Minnesota United team since the sale of Tani Oluwase and a few like injuries and whatnot. It's just been
it feels like a miss, honestly, the Tani sale.
Yeah, I mean, Tani's scoring in La Liga and doing well there, so good for him.
I mean, I get like the money and this stuff, but like you could have sold him after the season, probably, maybe even for more.
I mean, maybe there wasn't the opportunity to. It was now or never, and I get it, but like, I don't know. I don't feel as confident in this Minnesota team as I did like in the middle of the summer. So I'm going with a draw in this one. I think Minnesota on the road, Galaxy. Again, you want to ruin someone's season kind of deal. Minnesota has been pretty consistent on the road between home and road, but still some dropped points there on the road. So I'm going draw.
Okay. I'm going a Minnesota win. I just think they're better than the Galaxy.
I think the Minnesota United are better than the Galaxy.
No, I know, obviously. I just think like the Galaxy are so weird to me, and I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to add to that.
That's fair. I mean, look, I'm also like my thinking is like I also just don't want to go like every team eliminated is going to lose, which they might, and that's fair. Like it's a fair thought process, but that's just.
I had Toronto winning.
No, I'm not saying you did. I'm saying me. I think that was the first time I picked a non-playoff team to win.
I mean, I think I might have only picked Toronto as a team.
That's fine. All right. Portland Timbers hosting San Diego FC. The Timbers, with a win or draw, locks them into 7th place. If the Timbers lose, they can finish as high as 7th, but as low as 8th. So that would be a big loss there.
This one.
That's fine. San Diego with a win, they can finish as high as 1st, which that would be big for them as an expansion side, but as low as 2nd, still big for them either which way. San Diego with a draw can see them as finished as high as 2nd, but as low as 3rd. And then San Diego with a loss can see them finish as high as 2nd, but as low as 4th. So San Diego definitely locked into a home field advantage type of spot. Timbers really locked into like a middle of the pack playoff spot here, but obviously want to avoid that play-in game with the 8th spot because Dallas could play a little trick on them here, I guess, on decision day. But Jason, what are your thoughts on Timbers versus San Diego?
I'm going with the Portland Timbers. I think being at home, the last time they played was actually not that long ago. It was in late August with a 0-0 draw in San Diego. I think the Timbers, and this might just be like I don't know. I just haven't been able to rate San Diego all season. Like it's just been very difficult, and I think it's still difficult. So I could very well be wrong. I'm just going with Portland because I'm more confident in Portland. They're playing in Portland. I think they have, I guess both teams have a decent amount to play for, but I think Portland I think they get the win here at home.
That's fair. I think that's fine. I think Portland do enough to get a result so they avoid the play-in game. And I think San Diego obviously have been super strong on the road all season long as well. So I'm going with the draw. I don't know. I don't feel like
Have I picked a draw yet? I don't think so.
No, I don't think you have, but
I'm team no draws.
that's fine. You want 3 points or nothing. That's what you want.
Yeah.
But I just don't think there's enough that separates them right now. I like the Timbers. I think defensively iffy. I like San Diego. I still have my concerns though about, I don't know what I have my concerns about San Diego. I think Andres Dreyer's kind of dried up scoring a little bit. Same thing with Chucky Lozano. So we will see, I guess, on that one. All right, San Jose Earthquakes versus Austin FC. This is a big one. Austin, they've locked themselves. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Austin are locked into 6th place because they hold the wins tiebreaker over Portland. So Austin, doesn't really matter the result that they have here. They're locked into 6th. But for San Jose, a win could see them finish as high as 8th, but as low as 11th and eliminated from the playoffs. San Jose, with a draw or a loss, sees them eliminated from the playoffs. So Austin could fully rotate here and rest some guys for the playoffs, where San Jose are playing for something. But Jason, am I going first on this one?
You're going first.
This is a tough one. Does Bruce Arena back alley his way into the 2025 MLS Cup playoffs? I think he does. I think they get a win. They get a win. And the
last time these teams played was August 30th. Want to know what the result was?
And do I want to know what the result was?
This is home. Austin's home. Austin was home, and they won 3-1.
Austin's not home here. San Jose's home. And guess what? Austin on the road, not a great record. Don't look at San Jose's home record, but San Jose at home, Austin could be rotating. Austin not great on the road. Bruce Arena on the sideline. I'm trusting the Quakes. Let's go.
I'm going with a draw.
There you go.
I only put a draw in here. I think this game is going to be. I mean, there's going to be goals probably. Like, this San Jose defense is not a. This San Jose team in general is just goals for both teams.
That's it.
Yeah.
Better than last year's goal allowed record that they had.
Yeah.
But
I'm putting a draw in. I think if this was in Austin, I'm probably going Austin. But I think even with rotation, but I think in San Jose, there's going to be some goals. I think Austin just gets the point.
And I will also say this, just because I picked the Quakes to win doesn't mean they're going to make the playoffs. They still need other results to happen their way. I don't know. Well, if we have the time, I'll look at everything we picked and see what the results would look like. But yes, I think the Quakes take it at home. Do not feel confident.
I don't know if it's worth doing that. I feel like whatever. Maybe
we'll see.
It'll be tough to do that.
Yeah, I might say you can go, and then I'll finish up with with saying it for everyone. St. Louis City versus Real Salt Lake. RSL with so we're not going to talk St. Louis because they're eliminated, but RSL with a win could finish as high as 8th, but as low as 9th. RSL with a draw could finish as high as 8th, but as low as 10th, and then RSL with a loss can finish as high as 9th, but as low as 11th. So obviously, a win here gets them into the postseason conversation. Everything else would be a little bit more difficult for them to secure a playoff spot, but they are on the road against St. Louis, and RSL only have 3 wins on the road this season. So a big performance is needed for this team. Jason, you are up first here.
It's a tough one to be up first for.
Just like the last one.
Yeah.
Because St. Louis has also shown some signs of life.
Yeah, St. Louis has finished a little bit stronger than,
It's what St. Louis does. They have a really strong 9-game stretch to end the season, and you feel super confident about the next year. That's what St. Louis does.
I mean, I'm not that confident with the RSL team, man. I think this might be one of the hardest ones for me, actually. I think I'm going to go with I don't want to go with a draw. I'm going to go with a St. Louis win.
Ooh, okay.
I think St. Louis pulls this out. They're at home. St. Louis is a solid home team, right? No, they're not. No,
St. Louis is not a solid team. Period.
I mean, yeah, they're just bad in general. But RSL's been pretty bad on the road. I think I'm sticking with it. St. Louis is going to get this win. It's probably going to be a shitty game, though. It's probably going to be like a chunky game.
A chunky game. I like that. I like that description. It's going to be a chunky game. I am going to pick RSL purely based off of, I think, Diego Luna coming back from USMNT camp. He's going to be feeling himself. He's going to be big ball Diego Luna, and he's going to have a game to send his team into the playoffs.
I'm just looking back, are very different in our picks.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. I think some early ones we were similar.
There were three that were the same, I think. LAFC, Cincinnati, and Philly, I think.
Yes. All right, let's go into the final game of Decision Day to talk about Vancouver Whitecaps hosting FC Dallas, which I really like this matchup.
Sadly, Dallas finally lost.
They did. The Lucho Acosta magic ran out. Both teams have something to play for here. With a win or a draw, the Whitecaps lock themselves into first place in the Western Conference and the CONCACAF. Well, they already have a CONCACAF Champions Cup spot because of Canadian Championship, but double down on it, I guess. I don't really know. Whatever.
Does it go to the next?
I think it goes to the second. Well, I think so it goes based off like which spot is more important, right? Like I think the number one team in the Western Conference is a more important spot than the Canadian Championship. So I would be interested to know if the spot goes to Vancouver FC.
That would be so cool.
Fun.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
I need to ask someone about that. I will ask someone about that. But still, right? A win draw is big for them. Locks them into first place in the West. Possibility to host MLS Cup, right? If they make it all the way there, and fail. And no, that would be whatever. Doesn't matter. Whitecaps, if they lose, they can still finish first, but there is a chance that they finish second. Dallas, if they win, they can finish as high as 7th out of the playing game spot, but as low as 8th. If they draw, they can finish as high as 8th, but out of the playoffs and 10th. And if they lose, they can finish as high as 8th, but as low as 11th, again, out of the playoffs. I have to go here, and I feel I've been riding the FC Dallas train very hard this year. But since we've had Logan Farrington on the podcast, I feel like I've been so pro Dallas and like let's go boys and good vibes and good hype. But guess what? Logan Farrington has a red card and he's not playing in this game. Let's go Whitecaps. That's where I'm at.
I like that. That's where I'm at. That was the storyteller in you.
that is the professional wrestling fan in me right there. I'm getting you all hyped up and boom.
I am also going Vancouver. They're at home. They're wanting that 1 seed, right? Like,
yeah.
It's a huge deal, I think, especially in the West. I think having that home for the whole way, when you do have to go up potentially against an LAFC or a Seattle or whomever, they're going to want those games at home because, we've seen them in the playoffs versus a team like LAFC, and it's not gone well. So,
and look, FC Dallas is hot. Petar Musa scored in like 6 or 7 straight games. Like he's on fire.
Both teams outside of that, so both teams have 1 loss combined in like the last 8 weeks or something.
The Whitecaps, and that's what I'm saying, is Dallas is hot. Whitecaps are just as hot, if not hotter. We talked about the goal contributions for Heung-min Son. Jason, what do you think Thomas Mueller's goal contributions have been
that's a fun one.
for the Whitecaps?
How many games?
I'm including the Canadian Championship final he played in. So 7 games he has played for the Whitecaps.
Oh, wow.
What do you think his goal, the total goal contribution?
Over 1. No. I think he's at 6.
You think you're saying goals plus assists?
Yeah.
He's at 11.
Oh, my God.
He has 7 goals.
Wow.
And 4 assists in 7 for the Vancouver Whitecaps. Thomas Mueller is a game changer, baby.
That's crazy. That caught me off guard. Wow. Good for him.
And if you want to also talk about the fact that Ryan Gauld is now back playing and getting more and more minutes every match that the Whitecaps have, I'm just saying, watch out for the Vancouver Whitecaps. They made a Champions Cup final. Now they have, even with the sale of Pedro Vite, like they have what seems to be their best 11 of the entire season. Whitecaps could be back. Cool. All right, Jason.
I would love a Whitecaps little run in the playoffs for sure.
I would love a Vancouver Whitecaps versus FC Cincinnati. No, I don't want that. Vancouver Whitecaps versus Nashville SC final. Give me that. That's
All
what
right,
I
now
need.
we break down the conference, right?
I will. Do you have
I'm down
time?
to do it. I think it'll
Okay.
be quicker if we both do it. So we'll
Listeners
just
and
vote.
viewers, I'm pausing because I have the
Oh,
power to pause. Boom. All right. We took a pause. You
they didn't
guys
take a
didn't.
pause.
You think that was just us continuing the conversation.
Our brains
but
are so fast.
Jason and I went through all of our picks, all of the possibilities, and this is where we have our final seedings. So, Jason, do you want to
Do we
read?
want to do like you say your number one, I say my number one, you say two?
Sure, we can.
I
We
mean,
can
I guess
do it
it's not
way.
that interesting, but maybe it'll be fun.
Sure, fuck it. Why not? Well, we both have Philly in first. That's locked in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I guess if it's the same, we can just say whatever.
If it's the same, I got you. I'll read it for us. So we both have Philly in first. We both have Cincinnati in second. We both have Miami in third. We both have Charlotte in fourth.
This is where it gets fun, guys.
So we have the home playoff teams in the Eastern Conference locked in, right? We have those four good. So Jason, you want to read your fifth place team?
My fifth place team is Nashville.
I have New York City in fifth.
I have New York City in sixth.
I have Orlando in sixth, which I don't know how I feel at this point.
Wait, oh my God, yeah, your Nashville fell way off. Yeah, that's crazy. I have Chicago jumping to seventh.
I have Chicago in seventh as well. And then for the play-in game, you have who hosting who?
I have Orlando hosting Columbus.
And I have Nashville hosting Columbus.
Wow, you're like, oh man, the Nashville fall off for you is kind of crazy. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I picked Miami to win, so Nashville kind of just gets all kinds of fucked.
I guess the West is also like there's some locks, but
so yeah, Vancouver. We both have Vancouver first, LAFC second, so that's nice and easy there.
I have Minnesota third and San Diego fourth.
I have San Diego third, Minnesota fourth. Seattle and Austin are locked in at fifth and sixth, no matter what, based off their points and other tiebreakers. So, and then we also both have Portland in seventh.
Portland, I think, is locked into seventh with a draw.
With a Dallas result that we can say here.
Okay.
So you have in your play-in game, who do you have hosting who?
I have Dallas hosting RSL.
And I have RSL hosting the goddamn San Jose Earthquakes because
That's crazy.
So I picked them to win. So now I'm putting a lot on them. All right.
Yeah.
This was an hour and a half podcast. I'm glad we did it.
Good
I'm
one.
glad we're getting it out. It's out for everyone to listen and watch. And that's pretty much it, guys. Enjoy Decision Day. We will be back next week to talk about playing games, to talk about our preseason picks, to talk about the MLS Aces award winners. We got so much to talk about next week, and it's a fun time of year. Jason, thank you so much, buddy. Enjoy Decision Day, everyone. We'll talk to you guys next week.